Okay, you can guess where we're right now. We're in this nice smelling hot box here, and we've got our expert here that we call the man that knows everything with computers and fixing.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate the flattery, but
Yeah, no, you know a hell of a lot more than me, and I know more than you on certain things, and when you put things together there, you get yourself a little magic. So I was really trying to, this is Stevie, we did a prior interview with him, but you know, it's really nice to find people. This is the whole idea of me really finding people to help, you know, progress these projects, is to find people that are immersed in it and learn it as they go, but they find out that this is the best kept secret to getting healthy to anybody that wants to just step up their life. But it is a, you know, protocol procedure, and it is a lot of small little baby steps that you just negotiate up your way there, which you've done massive changes.
I've tried. I've been trying.
No, you have. Now we've been in here right now. Let me just give you a little view. We're at 138 degrees. I just popped in here about 5 minutes ago. Stevie's been in here about 10 minutes before me. And you can see we've got 6 of these ceramic heaters. There's one underneath me here. And we've got 3 of them behind us. And we want to make sure that this is closed, which was open. And if you want to, that's a little air vent. If you want to really be more effective, if you're more advanced, then what you do is you make sure that the airs on the top that are coming in are sealed off. Now, you know, Stevie just did the 21 days here, and the best way to surmise that is, and we were just talking about it, is that when you come here, you know, that's why it's necessary for the 21 days, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just, you know, doing the 10 days water, you can't just bounce back from doing water to just, like, back to your normal lifestyle of, you know, whatever, because, like, I've been eating food, just raw food for the past week, and I'm still, you know, working through it and getting used to it and stuff. I get, like, really bloated, and I don't even know what's going on, but I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't get back into the
Well, because you're putting in way too much food than you really need right now because you've been deprived.
Yeah.
So this is the way it really works, okay? This is an idea. This is why you change so much. See, in order for you to change yourself, you have to have the past, the present, and the future. These 3 different worlds actually go through you so you can emerge into a new world. Now, when you come here and you do your 7 days water, you're going to think of the past. You're going to think of all the foods you ate. You're going to think of all the things you don't have. Yeah. Okay? They do go through your mind, don't they?
Oh, yeah, especially at night, too. Like, that was probably the worst when I was trying to fall asleep. I was just getting, you know, all these images of just the worst foods, like pizzas and, you know, burgers and all these things. I'm just like, you know, this is getting old. So, but what was crazy is once I started eating again and refeeding, the cravings are completely gone. I don't even want them. So
now, see, what he's saying is that, see, this happened the same way through me, and we've all done this different ways, and I just found out this is the easiest way to do it, but I did it the hard way. And, you know, I was on the spin bike. I did it twice a day for an hour because I wanted to sweat. I wanted to get my fluids out of me, okay? And exercise is good, but, you know, the Far Infrared Sauna does a lot of the same work because you're really just trying to not get the cardiovascular, you're just trying to get the fluids to move through you. Once you change your fluid level, okay, because that's all you've been doing, well, you're drinking steam distilled water, drinking steam distilled water, okay? The inorganic minerals in your body have no choice but to actually start getting dissolved from the inorganic water, the distilled water. So what happens is that all your parasites, they start crying, okay, and complaining, and you feel them. Can't sleep at night, all these thoughts. Remember, mental movies. I just did a video on that this morning. Mental movies. This is dysfunctional energy patterns in yourself, and most likely they're parasites. Okay, mental movies. You're frustrated, you think of the same things really bother you. Okay, and everybody has them. Everybody has emotional drag because we all have heavy metal poisoning, mercury poisoning, arsenic poisoning, whatever it is. So you go from the past, you clean yourself out in 7 days, and then all of a sudden you start to live in the present because you're going to have a sip of coconut water. Was it good?
I mean, I've never tasted anything like that in my life. I'm like, am I drinking cake right now? This is crazy.
Yeah. So your whole system's dry, And now you're in the present. Okay, you just came from the past. You're thinking about all the things you don't have. You dried yourself out, and it does take 3 days for your body to get into this state called ketosis. Mm-hmm. And did you go to number 2 a lot when you were
it was more
on the water?
It was no, it was more towards the end actually. Like in the beginning, first like week actually, I was just like, what's going on here? I'm completely like empty in every way.
And you still had poop coming out of you.
Yeah, by like day 9 or 10.
Okay, so if you didn't have any food inside you got to sort of think. Logic. You're not a dummy. You're very logical and very reasonable. What was the stuff that's inside of you? It's a bunch of stuff that was stuck inside of you because you didn't have any food. And normal people, if they're healthy, I eat food in 4 hours to 6 hours. It's out of my body. A lot of people, they take sometimes 2 days, 3 days, up to a week before they get that food that comes out of their system, out of them. So we all have tons of baggage that's stuck in our intestinal tract. And, you can call it what you want to call it. It's intestinal plaque. It's intestinal bulk that is not what you can say natural for anybody to have an extended belly. Watch the video we did, what do you think's in a big beer belly? Okay, let's talk about that one. Watch that video. And so you live in the past, okay, when you're doing the water fasting. You come to the present when you have a little bit of coconut water. Because everything is like, whoa, okay, it's right now. It's not gluttony, it's right now. Then, once you start refeeding, okay, which you said, hey, all of a sudden everything's a feast now.
Oh, yeah. Even just like some carrots and lettuce, I'm just like, man, I could eat millions of pounds of this and keep going.
That's right. Now you're humble. Your body realistically didn't die from you doing how many days of water?
10 and a half.
10 and a half. Mm-hmm. If you told your mom that, she'd think you're crazy.
Yeah, she was wondering, like, when are you going to start eating again, like, every day? I'm just like, I still got a few days.
And she was worried about you. Are you okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's, like, water fasting is one of those things that I just didn't even really know anything about till a couple months ago. And I've been doing the Terrain Modification stuff for years now. Yep. And so...
No, these are all different layers. And you can see the layer that you came up with this time here, this pulled a lot of the layers that you might have been confused about. Now the program makes more sense to you because you've done it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you go from the past, remember all the memories, everything else. You go to the present, you have a little food, and then you go to the future because now this is how you're going to live your life for the next 6 months. 6 months, you're going to try to eat as much raw, live, living food as you can that are highly mineralized, no GMO, no microwave foods. Okay, because he was doing that before.
I was.
It was organic, but it was in a microwave. Okay? Yeah. And staying away from foods that really have zero nutritional density. So you live in the past, you live in the present, you live in the future, and right now you're in the future. So you're training yourself right now to be what you want the microbes, the essential microbes in your stomach to be. You're training them with the foods that you know that are good for you. And as long as you can do that for the next 30 days, your 180 days is a piece of cake, and the foods that you're going to eat right now are just like a big steak if you were a meat eater before. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Okay? I don't feel, when I have my food at night, I have 1 meal a day. Just because I've learned to do that right now. It makes me very humble, and my first bite is just like your first sip of coconut water.
Yeah.
It's ecstatic. So every night, I'm ecstatic to have my food. But I don't, really want anything throughout the day. I'm empty, and I just drink more liquids. Like we're in the sweat box here, right? 143 degrees. I've been now about 12 minutes or so, and I'm sweating a river right now. So it's time to do what? Drink some liquid. And you can hear this is making noise in here because it's under pressure, because the colder liquid, just like our bodies are colder than 140 degrees, okay, so our bodies are expanding, and this is what happens. So this thing's making like a little hissing noise because the cold volume in here is expanding. And so this is why you sweat in the Far Infrared heater here too. Your whole body swells. Okay, it gets more heat, and it has to let out the water. If not, you'll open that door up because you're going to feel like you're going to faint.
Yeah, that's happened a few times in the past week doing this. I was like, oh, I'm about to pass out. I'm going to open this door.
Mm-hmm. So, Stevie's been doing a variety also of medical therapies. Tell us about that real quick. What did you do?
Yeah, so let me think. There's been about 4 of them that I've been doing, like 8 or 9, or I don't even know. But the one I felt the most stuff from was the EDTA chelation. Like when I started that, I was actually water fasting, and that's when I really started feeling like something's going on here. And like for days after doing the EDTA, I was all like, irritable and just didn't want to move. And I did 6 in a row, like every single day. I was like, let's do EDTA, let's just knock them out. And it wasn't until like the 5th or 6th one where I was just for days, just like, man, I can't do this. I can't do a lot of this right now. But it was awesome because I think it really helped with a lot of the heavy metal.
That's what I could say, the same thing. You did glutathione, you did high potency vitamin C, you did alpha lipoic acid too, okay?
Yeah.
These are all either help you and aid you massively in detoxification, or what they do is help you rejuvenate, because they give you things in your body. The EDTA wasn't just EDTA, it was a cocktail. B vitamins. Yeah. So when you took that, though, did you feel, because when I used to do EDTA, I used to take it by the mouth. It's not effective that way, and I'm sitting on the toilet all day. Okay, so I'm very reluctant to take it again tomorrow. Why? Because I got things I got to do instead of sit on the toilet 20 times tomorrow. So
just set up a tent in the bathroom. Did
you feel any negative effects from like diarrhea, that type of thing from any of the therapies at all? Remember, you took 40 grams of vitamin C. You can't even take a gram without sitting on the toilet for 2 hours. Okay?
It's hard to say because like I mostly got the irritability and just I had nothing to be upset about, but I would be walking around and like, man, I'm so angry for no reason. And I mean, it definitely passed. Like this morning I woke up and I was like, man, okay, all right, things are a bit better.
So your emotional self I saw it, and I looked at myself and go, that's the way I look a lot of times when I am doing these types of detoxification procedures, only because you're ridding yourself of the toxicity and the emotions got to go with it. So that's why it's super important to do any of these, types of exercises that help. I don't care if it's stretching, yoga, doing the chi exercise, just going on good walks 2-3 times a day, just to work into the new energy. Remember, once you lose heavy metals out of your system, your parasites don't like you because their energy field has been changed. It's like opening up the door when it's nice and warm and it's an Arctic blizzard outside. Everyone's going to complain. So, the idea to doing all these protocols is just to get your body in flow. Okay, you've been taking iodine, replenishing your thyroid, part of your immune system. You've been replenishing your system with
those probiotics,
okay, consistently, which is the best thing that I've done over the last probably 2 years. I could say that was one of the key missing elements, was to constantly flow in a new set of warriors that are going to help me with my immune system. You get the common cold, remember, it's only one reason, is because your immune system's been compromised. Common cold, your system should fight that simple thing off. What if SARS, the pig tapeworm flu, I call it, the swine flu? What if Ebola came your way and your immune system can't even fight off a common cold? It's not so good. So we're going to go on part 2 here. We're going to show everybody's, remember, learning as you go. And you've been doing gua sha now for how long?
About 2 years, like once a week.
Okay, so you've changed a lot of your protocols and procedures since you've come here.
Yeah, like when I first started, up until I came here, I would lather myself up with the skin cleaning solution, and put on the fulvic, magnesium, coconut oil, and then I would just keep scraping, and I come here and it's a lot different because I've been doing it for years now, and you come in the sauna, you start sweating a ton, and you don't need a lot of the dissolving agents. You can just scrape, and the bruises that show up, they're just epic.
And what are the bruises, though? It's bringing back life. If you get bruises, and I used to get them probably for about 6 months. 6 months I was doing heavy gouaching, I call it. And it doesn't hurt. Maybe when you're doing it.
But it feels good.
But it feels good.
It hurts so good. Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, when you see these red marks, it looked like you sort of got bullwhipped a little bit. But it doesn't hurt like you got bullwhipped.
No, I mean, there's times where I get really deep with these spoons, and it's just black. And I've gouached this area numerous times, and I have never seen it like this. Mm-hmm. So it's...
Well, we're going to go ahead and do some simple techniques. But even if you've been doing gua sha for years, the technique I'm going to do is more of an advanced technique, is because this is going to take off the first layer of skin. It's going to push the pores open, whether they like it or not, because when we're in hot box yoga, Dr. Mari teaches a class in Hilo, and we go every Monday, And you can see how most of the people there, they don't even sweat at all. Okay? And remember in the beginning, the first time you went, you didn't sweat too much.
No.
Okay? And what happens, it made you feel sick because your body got overheated and your radiator wouldn't let out its sweat, so it couldn't regulate its heat, so it got overheated.
And I was on the water fast. I was drinking coconuts, and I was still trying to do heated yoga classes, which I've never done before. But then we did it again this past Monday.
Yeah,
and
total difference.
yeah, completely, well, not a 180, but definitely
No,
an
but
improvement.
you advanced much, not just a little bit. You advanced a lot. So what I'm saying is that when you start doing any of this stuff, don't get discouraged in the beginning, okay? You're not competing against anybody. You're just basically doing something that you know you need to do, and don't get sidetracked by a lot of the people that have been doing this stuff. I've been doing yoga and stretching now for about 6 years. You know, and I can do the splits, and I can do a lot of different motions I couldn't do when I was 18. Why? Because I do put the time in. My diet's good right now. And since your diet's good, you have to do the exercise to be able to rebuild your nervous system. So,
yeah, I can't even touch my toes, actually.
No,
And I'm 25 years old, can't barely have the flexibility of a rock. So,
but if you work on it, okay,
Yeah.
you're going to open up. And this is what it is. Look, you don't just go to yoga a couple days a week and think that's it. You go to yoga to learn some of the moves, and just put those in your, and make sure you go, like Dr. Mari, she's an expert. You want to see how things are done, and that's the way you're supposed to look. You go, oh, shoot, that's how I'm supposed to do it. And you put this in your DNA memory banks, and your mind will push itself into that form. So you want to take classes with people that have good form, because you're there to learn stuff, and not so much just learn it just because someone knows how to speak it. They got to live this new lifestyle that you're trying to get, which is to be super flexible and strong, like a lot of these yoginis are. They're massively strength, they have massive strength in all different layers. Handstands, all these different very difficult positions and poses and balance, and they're super flexible, which that's what you're trying to get right now, is to become more flexible, because you got good muscle tone. Look at this guy's got good muscle tone. He's not wimpy, okay? His system has vitality to it. He's got big veins in his arm, okay? This is the precursor to everybody that goes on a plant-based diet and actually just does it somewhat. You'll shrink your candida down and all the different levels of different microbes that live in your system. So when we do part 2, though, we're going to go over, like I said, some more advanced gua sha techniques, and just give you a different layer on how to do things. Remember, there's many different series for you to watch. A lot of the series, though, they're not separate series. The addiction series that we have is for you to be able to actually see the problems, reactions, and all the other types of series have to do with sometimes simple solutions. And they're holistic solutions, meaning that you're not using chemicals, you're not using, pharmacologicals, and you're not doing a lot of things that realistically are synthetic. You're just getting back to what we call a supernatural lifestyle. And if you give this a try, you'll see that in 6 months, you'll look back at yourself. I don't care if you lose 20 pounds, that's just physical. But your mind will be so much clearer. You'll lose a lot of emotional baggage, so you'll feel a lot more calmer. Be able to sleep at night, maybe. Be able to take a nap in the afternoon like you've done here.
Yeah, I had to take melatonin for years. First it was like 10 milligrams, and then once I started Terrain Modification, it was like 3. But since I've been here for 3 weeks, I don't even need it. Some nights it'll take me a while, but other nights I'm just like...
I took melatonin for 10 years. I couldn't even go to sleep unless I had those pills just psychologically in my head, because if not, I'm going to stare at the bloody ceiling all night long, and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be not tired. I'm going to be like foggy and not feel good, and the whole day I'm going to feel like I want to take a nap. So I was very scared of those levels. Now remember, the video I just did this morning. When you can't sleep at night, it's because you have heavy metal poisoning. You have dysfunction to your nervous system. It dreams too much. You can't get out of the astral plane. Okay, remember, the astral plane is the first plane. When you go to sleep at night, you go down to 4 cycles per second. And that 4 cycles per second that's what we call the rapid eye movement. That's the first level of sleep, or the first level of losing your body. Then if you want to get deeper sleep, you got to have your Wi-Fi shut off. You got to, if you got high electricity against your wall of your bed, then sleep the other way around. Sleep with your head down towards the feet, okay, and put your feet towards the headboard. Why? Because you don't want your head against the wall there. And a lot of people that have dysfunction are because of electrical magnetics. Stevie's in the computer world. He's got to start to see electrical magnetics, you got to ground your workstation so the electrical magnetics at least run through you and they don't tax your energy field. Because he's a young guy, but if you play around, and I know lots of people with computer, they got all hand problems. You got hand problems out of nowhere.
Yeah, like in the past year, my circulation in my hands is all jacked up. And that was actually another thing about the EDTA I noticed, is that when I got my very first one, I noticed it was going in and just ripping through stuff. It was crazy to see.
It's like rotor.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
So
the idea, look, your hands and your feet control your flow of your blood. And you get plugged up with plasticizers or chemicals, synthetics, whatever. Touching certain things or your fingers, those capillaries down there, they're single file door red blood cell travelers. It means that only one red blood cell at a time can go through, around the finger, and back to the heart, so it can get pumped around again. So you get any type, you have people with their hands on their keyboards all bloody day long in electrical magnetic fields. And I see so many people that have fungus on their fingertips. They don't know why. Well, your fingers are in electrical magnetic systems all day long, and they're getting whacked. Putting your cell phone on your chest, it's not smart, especially on your heart side. Putting it next to your gonads, man or woman. Putting your laptop on your lap, that's not good. So we have lots of ways to be able to sidestep and negotiate this on Earther Academy. The idea is, you're still going to use this technology, you just have to be smart about using it. So, same as with the detoxification protocols. If you don't understand it, then pass it by. Maybe ask your friend, maybe they will, and they'll explain it to you better. But the best way to learn anything is to do it for 6 months and make a choice then. Don't just do it for a week and think. You go on a plant-based diet for 6 months. Okay, and then if you want to go back to eating meat, at least go back to organic. Don't go back to the ones that are fed GM corn with Bt toxin. And that's basically every animal that you eat commercially grown. They're all being fed corn. And that corn has been proven to be loaded full of stuff called Bt toxin. So you're pregnant, you eat Bt toxin, you're not starting your child out in a good way by loading its brain, since the blood-brain barrier is not formed yet, loading its brain up with Bt toxin. You want a happy baby? Then don't eat GMO foods. Stay away from things that have pesticides and chemicals in them. And if you don't buy organic foods, then wash them really good in the sink with soap. Don't just wash them off. You got to wash them, even if it's organic. I wash everything with soap, just because there's rat poo, pee, there's guys grabbing stuff. Who knows where their hands have been before they touch that cucumber? Who knows? So, okay, we're going to get into part 2 now. Part 1 is for YouTube here. And part 2, of course, is where we share a lot of techniques, these very sensitive techniques on not how to treat yourself, but this is just common sense, how to open up the largest organ of your body and get out the poisons and toxicity that we all have. Like I said, if you don't think you have it, take your clothes off. Look in the mirror. See if you can see through your skin. See if you can see your stomach muscles. Everybody's got them. Okay, this guy's got them. Why? You lost 25 pounds too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we lose baggage only when you change your ways to a more optimal way. So, follow the steps of different people. This guy's a young buck, as I call him. I'm an old man. And I had to backpedal. At least he's backpedaling. And one of the reasons he is because he's had some physiological problems that sort of woke him up to say, I better take care of this stuff right now before it gets any worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so smart man. This guy, like I said, very talented. Piano, okay, computer, these are all things that they're virtues to go ahead and show you. You're a rejuvenational engineer. Okay, you switch your virtues of fixing other things on the outside world and fix your inside world. Use your reasonable and logical movements that you would trying to do something else in the world that you know so well. That's the physical world. Outside. This is the physical world inside. So, cleaning up your body, change the word body to temple, then it makes more sense. Your body's a bloody temple. Excuse me. And if you put garbage in it, that would be against the rules of the church to be able to go poop in the middle of the church. So, remember, they don't have cockroaches in the church. Why? Because they're not allowed. Cucarachas in your body, that's yeast, mold, and fungus. And why are they allowed? They're allowed in your bodies because you let them in. You let them in because you've been poisoned. Okay, so since you've done all this detoxification, okay, you're having emotional baggage because it's coming out. That's easy.
Yeah.
You got to get the physical out first. The emotional leaves when the physical becomes cleansed, because we do live in a physical world, and that is very powerful. And a lot of people say, well, I don't care about, all these, I call them sort of namasters, everybody's just using their head, and they're not really thinking that they live in the physical world. And the physical world demands you to follow some simple rules. And if you don't follow these simple rules, then in time, you'll see that you'll be part of the herd that's very sick in the United States. 100 million diabetics. Okay, 100 million people that are obese. Are we farming, people? Or is there going to be a big dinner here coming up? Okay, because it looks like everybody's ripe for the harvest. So sickness, remember, is only because you let it happen. So following a lot of these simple techniques and watching other people that have done these things, look at their movements. And if they weren't valid, so I'm doing these videos, is to show people basically that this does have efficacy, or called validity. Efficacy means it has a truth, and it is a work in progress. Okay, you're part of the work in progress. And you must, if you can, part of your progress is to share, like Stevie's doing here. He doesn't want to be on film, but he does. Okay, why? Because he wants to share. It's a big thing to be able to share something that money can't buy. Yes, and it does cost money to rewind your unconscious self. So all those hamburgers that you're eating, all the things that you think that are so not good for you, but they taste so good, they're only good because you have certain creatures in your system that say that they are good. And once you remove those, like you right now, a piece of carrot was pretty darn good, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was. I've never tasted a carrot like that before. Okay. I just holding it like, again, cake everywhere.
And you guys, and if you have some type of a problem right now, the only reason why Stevie's doing this, because he had some problems. If not, he'd be eating the hamburgers and all the stuff that you were eating before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It definitely required me to come here and go through this program to really see multiple different layers of all this. Because before, I was just kind of following the stuff blindly, but, connecting the dots here and there. But it really required me to come here to, connect them even better. So
connect the dots.
And I'm still learning too. So
well, me too.
Here I am.
I've been doing this for 40 years, and terrain modification. Remember, is not just the pH miracle. It's not just looking at drinking water. All these different books that came out. They're all departments. So it's very worthy to read a lot of those departments just to understand. But we've made it so. Watch the lectures and then just get a general idea of what you're going to do in the future, which is just pretty much optimize everything. Like I said, if you're smoking cigarettes, then at least switch over to organic. Don't light up with the petroleum-based lighter. Use the hemp line. Okay, take away those toxicities. So change the things you feel you can and upgrade, something once a month in your household. If you can't afford it, well, buy yourself something once a month. Quit buying yourself stupid things and buy yourself things that'll really, in the future, it's sort of like, purchasing your own primary health care insurance right now. Because either way, you're going to have to figure it out and pay for it. And you notice how, let me tell you, most people, even if you do have insurance and you go to the hospital, you know what happens. You get sent down a road that's completely synthetic and pharmacological with no help at all in your nutrition, no help at all in heavy metal detoxification, no help at all in remineralization. In fact, when you go to the hospital and you're in there, they're going to feed you the junk that I tell everybody not to eat. That's pretty oxymoron. So here we go, part 2. Anything you want to say before we sign off here?
No, I'm just getting prepped for, I don't really know, actually, because I've never had, gua sha.
2 seconds. Tell us why you're involved in helping put Earther Academy together.
I mean, that's a pretty big question, but
just very simply though, why? Because it's necessary, like you told me.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was watching all the YouTube videos that you're putting out and seeing how there was a lot of scattered information and stuff, and I was just thinking this could be way better. It needs to be taken to the next level, and so I just kind of took it upon myself to reach out to you tons of times until finally.
This is the first time I saw eye to eye with him over the last year. We spent hundreds of hours talking back and forth, phone, doing this, figuring this out. He's probably put together, I don't know, 500 little widgets to make the computer do what it's supposed to do, and the things that it's not supposed to do, you got to figure that out too. So, without other people to help that are in the theme, I've already tried to have people help me write a book and do their things. If they're not in the theme, and if this isn't them, they can't help me film. They can't help me write, put things together. They can't help me organize. Why? Because they're trying to learn on the way, and I'm looking for people really that can, really see that not only is this necessary for, if I want to, let's say Stevie wants to go ahead and explain some of this information, all you got to do is pass a lot of people over to Earth Academy so they can watch a lot of this stuff. If not, it takes you 6 months to a year just to feel comfortable by talking about a few things. If not, you feel like a bloody heretic and a weirdo. So, anyways, guys, now we've been in, I've been in 34 minutes, so I'm ready to go to the next layer. And you are too. And you can see, we got rivers going down us right now.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, actually.
And it's not anybody's liquids but yours, is it? There's no steam in here. This is a dry heat sauna that's far infrared. This is way different than the ones that you go into the gym where they have the hot rocks. That heats you from the outside in. The far infrared heats you from the inside out. That's why you perspire so good. Okay, part 2 in a sec. Aloha.
Important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.